My first drunk, I was 12 or 13.
Yeah, when I had my first drink, I was about 8 years old.
Probably maybe around the age of 12.
I think my first drunk that I can remember was a bunch of us kids sucking on a bottle of Boone's Farm apple wine in the woods in the back of the house. And giggling, falling down, loving every minute of it.
Well, I can't remember my first drunk, but I do remember my first drink. My whole life I had felt nothing but dumb, stupid, and ugly. And I was at a wedding reception with a girl I went to college with, and at that wedding reception I drank a screwdriver, and it was just wonderful. And for the first time in my life I didn't feel dumb, stupid, and ugly.
But the one thing that's most memorable is that from the time I started to the day I quit, I was planning for my next one.
I really don't remember when I had my first drunk. I used to party a lot with the girls, loved going to the bars, and there was that time, whenever that was, where I just had one too many and came home, and the next day I remember waking up saying, wow, this is fun.
My first drunk, I was 12 or 13, and my mom and dad entertained a lot. But after everybody left, my mom and dad never cleaned up till the next day. I cleaned up that night. I went around, finished all the beers, all the drinks and everything else, and I loved that feeling. That was like so empowering, and I felt so sick the next day, but I couldn't wait for them to have another party.
When life got bad and I was drinking just to escape from the world, I never looked at the drinking as being a problem. I thought everything else was a problem in my life, and that's why I had to drink to forget.
I was the last to know. I always thought, you know, I could quit at any time. When you keep getting fired from jobs and people are starting to talk about you behind your back and you can almost see them doing it, you start to get an inkling that maybe there is something wrong. But I thought, you know, I could stop this anytime I want. But every morning when I got up, I had this desire to run. I had to get out of there. And I started feeling better as the day went on. And the first place I ran to was the bar.
I thought about it once or twice when I had to get court ordered to go to AA. But you know, I'd go to the meetings. I wish I would have got it back then, because if I would have had it back then, I wouldn't have went through a lot of drunken disorderlies and 13 drunken driving charges, you know, on record, and plenty of them that I paid under the table.
I came to AA because I didn't want to go to jail. And I did not realize what the problem really was until I had actually been in AA, not drinking, for about a year and a half.
Well, in all honesty, it was probably my last drunk when I was staying in the living room and I had a gun, and I didn't know if I wanted to shoot my children or myself. My wife was going to leave and take my children. And I think actually when I really decided I had a problem was probably sometime after I'd been in a fellowship, after listening and listening, you know, because before that I just thought I was the way life was, you know. I grew up around alcohol and all my friends drank, and that's what I thought we were supposed to do.
At the very end, so much came down on top of me. I got on the phone and tried to call the AA hotline. Well, I was loaded, and the hotline I got was the crisis line, which was the suicide hotline. And they said, oh, this is the suicide hotline. I said, oh, wrong number, and I hung up. No sooner did I hang up, there was 2 cops in my bedroom. Oh, my next door neighbor's in AA. And he came over and said, hey, what was the cops doing here last night? And I was honest with him. I told him what happened. So I'm going to a meeting tonight. You want to go? What do I got to lose? We got in his truck, and on the way to the meeting, he says, are you nervous? I said, no, I'm drunk.
How's my life today? My life today is full. If I'd have sat down and wrote down what I wanted my life to be like when I first came in here, I would have changed myself by miles.
I could have never come close to the reality that Alcoholics Anonymous gave me.
I owe everything I have in my life today to Alcoholics Anonymous. So I go to meetings still, I have a home group, and I do everything I can to try to repay and give something back what was given to me so freely. I still sponsor today. I love going to meetings. And I always get up in the morning and say, thank you, God, for another day.
Life's awesome today. I knew nothing about living life when I came in, and I had no clue. I'm not rich today, but I think it's more of an inside job. What I do is still keep it simple. I thank God for those old timers that got me sober when I came here. And if anything, it's just like Merle told me from the beginning, was that, don't take first drink alcohol and go to a meeting. Pretty much any guys that I talk with that are new or pigeons, I try to keep it that simple. Just about what are we doing today and learning how to live just for today. That's it. I think that's the wonderful thing about Alcoholics Anonymous is the fact that how simple it really can be if we learn how to, live a simple life.
I stay sober by being in AA and now around AA.
Well, everything that's happened since Alcoholics Anonymous, I've become a connoisseur of coffee and donuts, but my whole life, my health is unbelievably good. My family's health is good. We're not only healthy as bodily wise, but spiritually and mentally. I have two wonderful children, and I've been married for 30-some years, and what more could you ask for? To have God, conscious contact with a higher power, and those who know what that's like, you can't describe it. It's just wonderful.
Probably the greatest gift I have is me.
I was fortunate. When I came into Alcoholics Anonymous, they said this was a fellowship, and what that means was that we hang around together. And so I lost my old friends, and I joined my new friends. And those people who had they were interested in the same thing I wanted, and that was a better way of living, a new way of life. And they gave me that through their example, and every time I asked them a question, they were there for me. And for that, I'm forever grateful. I love working with new people, and whatever I could do to help them, I do. And it makes me feel good inside.